YouTube? It's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. And today, we're going to talk to you about, you know what, maybe you want to give the gift of balls. And if you want to give the gift of balls this holiday season, what would be some, good balls to give? Of course, we are talking ball pythons. And I kind of look at it, and I know there's always going to be different price levels and different strokes for different folks, because what's expensive to some isn't to others and vice versa. I understand that. So we're going to talk about some different levels of ball python that you could look at getting for a gift for somebody. Maybe your significant other, maybe a child, whatever you want to do. I'm going to leave the actual caging out of it this time. I'm going to assume you already have that or know where to get it. If you don't, we'll do a video on cages sometime. One, of course, you can't go wrong. Just the basics. Just the basics. And that would be, don't bite my thumb. You're going to bite my thumb. Let's not do that. I know. Pulling you out of your cage. You don't like it. This little guy right here. That is a traditional normal ball python. This is what they would have looked like right out of Africa. I need to see a little bit better light, Kurt. That better? It's traditionally right out of Africa. I guess you have another light. I'm being a butthole now. So this is what they would look like in the wild. Normal pattern, kind of normal everything. And everything else we look at, the change is going to be pretty much skin deep. For the vast majority of every morph, it's a skin deep change. So all you're really getting for your extra money is skin color. So this is just as much steak as a $10,000 snake when you strip the skin off. So this is a great starter reptile. If you're just wanting a snake, maybe a first pet for a kid, and you want to see how they do, this is a great way to go. I mean, they're the same to care for. They're very easy. They're very calm to handle, as you can see. He was a little nervous when I took him out, but he's doing just fine. It's going to grow to about 3.5 feet on average as a male. So it makes a great gift, right? Traditional, straight out of Africa, wild type, or normal ball python. Let's say you want to get something that's just kind of a step up from that. A different color, maybe not something quite so normal. This would be the next thing that you could kind of go with. These are pastel ball pythons. I know, you always want to eat. Always, 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 always. That is not food, that's my finger. She's giving me a pretty good wrap there. Now, as you can see, the difference is in the color. These kind of have a lot more yellow coloration, a lot higher color to them. They're a really gorgeous animal. I really like these. They're what I always call like a base morph. So for breeders, pastel is something we put into a lot of things to make really exciting combinations and brighten the color. But in the world of, ball python morphs, pastels are pretty common. So you can find pastels pretty easily for under $100, whether it's male or female, pretty much all day long. A lot of times in the $75 to $90 range for a good, healthy, well-started animal. Sometimes you can find a deal for a little less. Sometimes there may be a little more, but that's kind of the going rate. Now the animals I'm selling you, this isn't a what I got for sale video. This animal's actually already sold. It's waiting to be shipped out as part of a group when the weather clears and the other one gets a little bit bigger. We sold this on our Patreon page. If you get a chance, check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's part of our deal on that. But those are a really good snake to go with in that range. Another one I want to show you, if it's not busy. Now, this is going to be a bigger snake right here. This is a spider. Well, not exactly. This is actually a het snow spider, but visually it looks just like a spider. You find these in about the same price range of those pastels. This is just a young adult one. And you can definitely see the difference from the normal with this barbed wire pattern. And again, these are snakes you're going to find for a lot of times under $100 when they're young. So you're not getting into too crazy of a price. And look, I love spiders. I do. I'm a huge spider fan. I love the pattern. I love the way they work. I think they're beautiful. There is something to be known about spiders, and people will talk about the Wobble. Some people won't breed them, and that's a personal choice. And I think the Wobble, if you know what it is, it's not that big of a deal. All spiders tend to have it, but you'd be hard-pressed to find it on her. And what I mean is, you don't really see it. She moves just fine. She tracks fine. She knows exactly what she's doing. She eats wonderfully. One of the times you'll see a Wobble on a snake, so I can get her to do it, is usually when they're picked up. And it's almost like they have a hard time telling up from down. See that? She kind of lifts her head up, can't tell what she's doing for a second, and then she's fine. That's really all the Wobble is for the most snakes. It takes her just a little bit second longer to get up there on that arm to perch. Once her head's on the ground, she does really good. Have I seen severe cases? Yeah. Is it common? It's really not. Severe Wobble, in my experience, really isn't common. And if I had some of those severe Wobble, I'd take it out of my breeding program. But that's about I mean, you can see it, but unless you knew exactly what you were looking for, you would never notice it. And the snake, as far as care, health, everything else, does just as good as anything else. So I would say, if you can inspect that animal and it's doing good, I wouldn't worry about the wobble. That's just me. Kurt, what do you think about wobble?
Definitely, like, we've seen some snakes that have it, but for majority of the spiders we handle, it's not an issue.
Absolutely not. So when you have these people who would go all ape crazy over, oh my God, they're keeping spiders and they wobble and they're terrible and they're horrible. Guys, it's really not a big deal if you know what you're looking for. Now, if somebody chooses not to possess them because of that, hey, absolutely within their rights. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. But it's one of those things that, you know, are kind of up to you. Another snake I really, really like, let me go down, way down here to get one of these, that are going to go in about the same process. Oh my God, you guys made a huge mess. We got some breeding going on. Let's see if we're locked up. I don't think we are, so I'll go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to have to clean your tub today. They always make a mess when we're breeding. Is a lesser. This is what a lesser looks like as an adult. This is a really nice lesser. I really like their colors. Again, this is a snake that you can often find for, you know, $100 and down a little bit if it's a single gene lesser. $100, maybe a little bit over, not usually too much. They're beautiful, very reduced, very bright color. This is an impressive animal. To me, this is one of your biggest bang for your buck animals, as a straight up lesser. I really dig these. Okay, back in there. I'll come do some cleaning when we're done filming. You guys are gross. Snakes are disgusting sometimes. Another one I think is a great one, kind of in that ballpark, if you're looking for something that's not going bright and you want to go dark, would be... How you doing, girlie? I don't think these are quite as easy to find, but again, they're a pretty common snake. And this is going to be a black pastel. Now this wouldn't be something, if I was getting somebody a pet snake for their first snake ever, I probably wouldn't go black pastel. Only reason I say that is unless you kind of know what you're looking for, they don't pop as visually as a spider does or a pastel does. There's a lot of difference in the pattern, some difference in the color from a normal, and they can do some awesome things. This is a great snake for somebody who's maybe thinking about doing some breeding or has had a few snakes and can appreciate the subtle differences in this from a normal, in the pattern and in the color. I love black pastels. That's not a knock on them, but it's just not going to be as eye-poppingly wow as you have in the pastels and the spiders. All right, I'll tell you another one. These are a great, great bang for your buck animal, and we're going to start going into what I'd say is the $100 to maybe $200 range now. I think I showed you there is $100, and then if you look, these are going to be maybe, if you're lucky, under $100, but a lot of times a little over $100, and you're going to see exactly why. This is a Bumblebee, who also made a mess, but I can clean that mess right now. I got this out on camera. Now, this little one here is sold. And what a Bumblebee is a Bumblebee is a combo of two morphs I already showed you. Spider and pastel. This is probably one of the, I'm not sure if it's the oldest, but it's one of the older two gene combos that's out there. So it's very, very common in breeding. But I think the color on these is spectacular in that pattern. I dig them a lot. I think for bang for the buck, if you're wanting a cool Christmas present for somebody and a cool snake, it's hard to beat a Bumblebee, man. It is just so hard to beat what spider and pastel do together. Beautiful, beautiful creatures. All right, Kurt, before we go a little bit higher, is there anything else you want to show on that same kind of price level as a Bumblebee that I'm missing? Anything you think of? Maybe Calico. Could pull out a Calico. Calicos are another single gene animal. Oh, that's right. He's busy. We'll try this Calico. She's not busy. She should be busy. These are a little harder to find. And again, they're not the most visually different morphs. It kind of looks like somebody went in with an eraser and erased scales. So again, this is kind of a subtle morph. The tail pattern on them is usually very, very wonky too. You can see it all is kind of... So I think they're really cool. Kind of would fall in with black pastel. I would probably get this for somebody who I knew was into snakes and had a few snakes, and they're going to appreciate it a lot more than somebody who's just getting their first one. So that's where I'd put the Calico. Now, if you're going to go just a little bit more money, we're going to start getting to maybe that $150 to $250 range. Let me show you some really cool stuff, man. Really cool stuff. One, you're going to start getting into some recessives. Although she is a complete mess, got dirt all over, albinos. Jeez, you got dirty. Why did you get so dirty? Don't show you when you're dirty. Blah. She's been digging in her substrate. Albinos are just so beautiful. Such great color. And this is that one that has a weird scale with color on it. See? The colored scale. Anyway, I love the contrast in an albino. That beautiful white and yellow. The only thing is when they get dirty, which she tends to like to do, it really, really shows. So, but this, bang for your buck, hard to beat. This is an iconic morph. You'll see it in almost every type of reptile out there. Albino iguanas, albino Burmese pythons, rattlesnakes, you name it. Almost everything, including humans, has an albino form. So it's really kind of neat, and the color is just amazing. Definitely one of my favorites. Alright, girlie, get back in there. You can also start getting into some more combos. Like, you might even get into a lesser ghost. And this snake, this is one of Camera Guy Kurt's favorites. This snake is always gorgeous. This is a snake in shed. Ghost being a hypermelanistic, which you can find that for about around $100. And then the lesser, obviously, in there as well, which we already showed you. So you could probably find one of these for about that, 150 to 250 range, probably closer to the high side of that. But my goodness, they're just beautiful. Like I say, this is in shed. This is the snake looking bad. Like, this is the worst this will ever look. It's just mind-boggling. Let me put you back in there so you can shed your skin. So those are great. And if you step up just a few more notches, oh, one more I forgot. You ready to yell at me, Kurt? You gonna be mad?
No.
You're not gonna be mad? What am I gonna show? You have any idea? This is another single gene that I think you can get for that under $200. And what this is Kurt's favorite snake of all time. He loves these. The champagne. For those of you that have been watching for a long time, you know Kurt hates champagne. He thinks it looks like they rolled in mud. I dig them. A lot of difference from here to normal. You get somebody a champagne, they're going to know you got them a different snake. It's not going to look anything like a normal. Just really nice color, reduced pattern. A lot of them have these ringers on their tail, which this one has a nice big ringer. Just beautiful, beautiful snakes. And again, you can find these for under $200, I think, most of the time. I know I let mine go for, I think, around that this year. I'd have to go back and look at records to remember for sure. So that's another one that's sitting out there. And if you go one notch further, and this is probably where we'll stop what we're doing, is you start getting some really neat stuff. Oh, I forgot one thing. You can get into Examtx too for that price. This is another old recessive. How I forgot it, I don't know. It's my favorite. And that is an Examtx, one of our big Examtx males. And you're probably going, okay, dude, it looks like a normal. Let me prove you wrong. Because this is a normal. Nah, it's a normal in shed. Let me get a normal that's not in shed. A shedding normal shows its color pretty bad. Here we go. This is a normal. See if the camera picks that up. Now, what you're going to see is the pattern's about the same. Okay? But if you look at that color, wrap these guys together, you can really start to see it. See the difference? See the difference? There's no yellow in the snake. So snake tends to take on a silvery color. When you start adding genes to that, forgot to put him to work. You get some really cool stuff. Oh, okay. I have to just show this over here, Kurt, because they're in the middle of breeding. What I mean by they're bleeding, instead of tails are close together, he's not locked, but I don't want to disturb him. So what you have there is an adult Pastel and an adult Pastel Examtx. So you can really see the difference in the color as it shows up with the Examtx gene. So you have a normal, adult Pastel, adult Examtx, and an adult Pastel Examtx. Get those all out of there. This is what happens when you have to handle about 5 snakes at once. I guess it's only 4, but that kind of shows you the difference in those jeans. And those are all within your range, in that price range, except for probably the Examtx Pastel. You might be hard pressed to find one of those at that range. But everything else I showed you, you can definitely find in that price range. You go up one more notch, and now we start getting into some of the classic favorites that everybody has. So now we're going to go to some, if you want to spend a little bit more, you want to get a really nice snake for somebody, you can start to get into things like pipes. We sold pipes for $350 this year. They are absolutely beautiful. And again, this isn't a for sale video. This is my holdback pine. It's one I'm keeping. The white is random. They're very orange. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous snakes. You cannot beat a pine. Like, this is one of those snakes that if you get it for somebody, for a present or for Christmas, or maybe it's a Christmas present for you, every time they open that tub, they're going to go, wow. They're going to love every snake you get, but this is one that the color on is just, it's literally breathtaking. I mean, there's just so much beauty. It's such a wild pattern, you know, and this would never make it in the wild. It would get picked off by a predator because it would stick out, which is unfortunate. But in captivity, they do fine, because again, the change is only skin deep. But just gorgeous. One of my all-time favorites for pies. One of my all-time favorites. You can also get one of these. These you can find for probably $200 and less right now. A little bit less maybe, but around 200 bucks. I should have showed one earlier. Bang for your buck. This is probably what I'd say is the best snake out there. You cannot go better than this. Bang for your buck. And that is a banana. Now don't worry, those little black spots are little freckles that they tend to develop as they age. This, guys, you know, when I first started, these were $10,000 a piece, and they have this love-hate relationship in the breeding community because of the way the prices fell and all that. If you look at my pricing videos and market videos, you'll hear that. But if you're looking for a present for bang for the buck, you get this really cool, brightly colored lavender and yellow snake for $200. Man, I don't think you can beat that. When you look at the spiders and the pastels I showed you, and yeah, you might find a female there for $90 or male for $75, but they don't look as different as this thing does. This thing is just out of this world when it looks to color. This is another animal. Every time they open the tub, they're going to go, wow, you're going to be there for about 200 bucks. I think bang for the buck, dollar for dollar, right now in today's ball python market, it is hard to beat a banana. I really think it is. And not everybody's a breeder. A lot of people are just looking for a snake for a pet or for a gift. And if you're one of those and you want something different than a normal, how do you beat this? Like, Kurt, what beats this bang for buck?
I think your bang for your buck would be this or an albino.
Yeah, albinos are so nice. And you're going to be in about that same price range depending on whether you get a male or a female. Only bad thing about bananas is when I quote you price, that price I'm telling you that you're going to find for $200, that is males. If you want a bigger snake, you have to pay more in the banana. You always pay more for females than males, almost. Bananas, it's even a more of a vast difference right now because there's some sex linking in the breeding. This one actually happens to be a female we produced, but the colors are the same, so I use her to show. They're just these gorgeous little babies. God, I just love them. I haven't even named her yet. You know what? I'm going to name her right here on camera. Don't. We are going to call this one, unless Kurt yells at me, Pegasus. We always do mythology, and we hit the female from a male maker. Camera girl called it, or camera girl, question girl, called it our unicorn. Since Pegasus is the flying horse, sometimes portrayed as a flying unicorn, I think Pegasus would be a fitting name. What do you think, Kurt?
Yep.
All right, she's Pegasus. Even though Pegasus was probably a dude, I don't know. That's going to be her name. We'll give her a super close-up because she is so gorgeous. Look at the color. And if you either love or hate those freckles, but they're going to show up, nothing you can do about it. All right. Is there anything I missed that you think would be a great snake for a gift, Kurt?
I don't know. I think we covered everything. There's always some out there.
There are always some out there. Absolutely. But those are some of my favorites if I was going to buy a gift. As a snake guy, I'd probably end up with the banana, or like Kurt said, the albino. Of course, it might do Examtx. And if you wanted to go all kinds of crazy, you know, you could just really kind of up your game 100% and go with one of these. Actually, this is going to be really expensive, and I just want to put him on camera because it's Christmas and he's my favorite. That's my favorite Zeus! And if we're going to go out, we're going to go out on a bang. We're going to go out showing off my buddy Zeus. So, you can't have him for Christmas. Nobody can have him for Christmas. All right, guys. Kurt, you got any questions?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.